Good evening everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Let's Play of Pokémon Sleep. Now this video is actually a 2-in-1. I have a recording from yesterday and then we'll do a main session afterwards. I did find a Totodile in this recording, which is why I've let it in and kept it. And so we're just gonna click through here and see what we can find. Now, since I already know, we're gonna have a look at Totodile. I might as well put up the Feraligatr here in the widget. Now, I was a little bit unsure if the event missions would show up on other islands, but obviously they don't. They are specific for the event, which you can only get by participating in that particular area. So I have made it to Greengrass Isle now on the free-to-play. And in this recording, we have two new sleep styles. There is a Raticate, which is nice candy, and also a new sleep style for Wigglytuff, which is also nice candy. And my actual healer, the Wigglytuff, is getting closer than ever to level 25. It's still around 20, but I think in a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we should be hitting that level 25, in which case I will get that extra trait, which is speed. And it can even be sub-skill seeded to speed M once that comes through. So it's a pretty nice sleep style here of the Wigglytuff. I hope we can find more of those, maybe even the 3-star to get even more candy. In this recording, there's actually a lot of targets on the field. Wigglytuff and Jigglypuff are not targets directly, but that candy is amazing. And aside from that, I managed to find a Fuecoco, a Totodile, and a Spheal. Now, Fuecoco is not a target yet here on the free-to-play, but it may be in the future. We'll just have to see. Now, as of right now, I haven't really pieced together a cooking strategy, and Velocity Raptor in yesterday's video commented that I should probably start to look into that, and that is correct. Especially now that I'm going back to Greengrass Isle, it's probably a good idea to start thinking just long-term in case some of those, whatever those Pokemon may be, show up hungry, and maybe slow down the berry hunt a little bit on the Totodile side just to account for that. Now, I don't know yet what the answer is for the cooking strategy, but I've spent quite a bit of time today working on a spreadsheet for it, and it's probably going to be done tomorrow or sometime this week, and then it's just going to be a full-on video standalone for the free-to-play series. And maybe even for premium players and whales, it can be interesting to see what kind of patterns we can find. Because essentially I'm just doing like a color grading, color, what we'd say like a heat map type analysis on the various dishes across the 3 different dish types, with the information also per ingredient. So it's very detailed, and so I think overall it's not impossible that I'll be able to narrow it down to 2 or 3 ingredient specialists that we can combine and cook some pretty decent meals. And yeah, here it is. So it's the nap session where all of this stuff is happening, and Totodile is on top belly. I'm super surprised I found 2 new sleep styles for Totodile, despite the fact I've already caught 12 of them. So not sure why that was, but maybe it's just the progression that we've had now at the Siam Beach area. When you're a new player and you have under 100 area bonus percentage points in total, then you get 10% per week. And so each week here is actually quite different. 10% makes a huge difference, on top of the fact that the Pokemon are leveling up, they're evolving, and so on and so forth. So the nap here was a pretty big hit. Had this been live, I would have been super stoked. Now, we had a Spheal that got all full, and we had a Totodile that got all full also. And then, at the very least, I managed to claim one of these Totodiles. And so one of the things that I'm hoping to do today, if I'm lucky, is to reclaim the Totodile and the Spheal. Now, I don't have a nap session for today at my Greengrass Isle, and I have had it confirmed in the Discord that there are no negatives by doing naps these 2 weeks, so that is pretty good. Although, I don't know if I have enough strength here on the free-to-play at Greengrass to do naps, and I also don't think I have enough strength on my main account to do naps on the Old Gold plant either, so it's going to be an interesting week or two for sure. And yeah, so that's it for the Totodile, and these crankers over here did not want the biscuits. Although this Totodile right here, watch this. No. No bueno. Am I not remembering correctly? There should be a crit here somewhere. There you go. There's a lot of crits on those Totodiles, but unfortunately, I was not happy after that second biscuit. And this Spheal was also very quickly full. I think it just goes to show these averages. I've had a couple weeks now where I've had multiple 1 and 8s where essentially my target just takes all the biscuits I give it, and it's just not full, but it's caught. So yeah, we then had 2 full targets. Hopefully those show up again. The Spheal would like a bonus biscuit, and the Totodile just a regular Poke Biscuit. And yes, I'm gonna send out the Spheal candy, I think, for the friend list. I had to rethink this a couple of times because I have to adapt a little bit based on that friend list. And I know a lot of you guys who are on here are either free to play or strict premium. And at that point in time, you probably want the Berry Specialist candy over, let's say, Quaxley. I don't know. You could correct me in the comments if you disagree. So let's leave it at that. So friendship level 13 on the Totodile. Haven't yet found a berry finding Totodile in that first slot. I have one that is at level 50, but I'm hoping that I can find it before then. And even that is not particularly strong. Now, main skill chance down here is a little bit unfortunate. I do think the skill level up M is a decent trait on for Alligator, just because it has 5.5% at base. But really the only thing going for me with that Totodile was the speed, unfortunately. And so at that point, we've made it to Greengrass Isle. And some of you guys are probably commenting the video starts at 7 minutes. But I think for the documentation of what I've been doing here on the free-to-play, it was important to leave that clip in its entirety. So now that we are playing live, I'm gonna collect from these guys because, man, this first day is always a little rough. And my overstacking was not as strong this week because, yeah, I really try to maximize that discovery week, which was not even last week. What am I saying? Okay, so we have the unreviewed sleep report happening. No nap, just a big old session. So let's see it, everyone. I don't think it's going to be slumbering though, which is the big problem. Yeah, I did a big nap yesterday. The game was not happy. It was saying that I was not active enough and cut me off. But that's kind of good because then we have this session right here. It should be relatively small though. 15 million, just enough for 7 encounters. Not bad. 29 sleep score. Oh man. All right, are there going to be any targets though for the snoozing session? It's a big question. Growlithe, Crocalor, Eevee, that could be interesting. Another Eevee, another Growlithe, and a Comfey. I think it's going to be an Eevee for me here. I think that's the most logical capture here. Now, unless the Crocalor is hungry, then I will be super tempted. Now that I just have to spend that bonus somewhere. And yeah, maybe I've even tempted to spend 2 Poke Biscuits aside from that bonus on the Eevee so that we have something to review here live. No, nothing is hungry. And I don't have a bonus biscuit. That is rough. Actually, I'm just gonna leave. I need to sit down and do this cooking strategy first before I really consider catching anything but my targets. So it's going to be the Crocalor candy for the friend list. And maybe we can talk a little bit about the strategy here for the free-to-play for the Old Gold Power Plant launch event. So I'm doing the cooking strategy today to see if maybe I should try to target the Grubbin for the coffee. Some of these bigger dishes really require a lot of resources, and so you need to get some really strong Pokemon to do that. And I don't know necessarily if the mono strategy there is going to be sufficient. So what I'll do is I'll probably end up, yeah, we got 3 retro actively here. That's nice. I'll probably end up doing Pokemon with the ABA or AAB ingredient lists, where you either get a big portion of a new ingredient at level 30 or at level 60, and that 2 of the ingredients are the same. So it's kind of, you get an even amount, like about there for 2 different ingredients. And then if you have 2 to 3 Pokemon, then in theory, you have roughly 6 ingredients covered. And perhaps among 6 ingredients, I can cook something of a decent size. Now, I went in detail on the response that I gave to Velocity Raptor, and there are a couple issues with the cooking strategy here on the free-to-play, and that's, first of all, the diamonds. So there's barely no diamonds available. Obviously, you get a good chunk from the achievements and when you cook new dishes and all the rest, and the daily gift. And then maybe every now and then we get some either sleep style deck school or some gifts or things like that. For the most part, the diamonds are pretty rough. And for now, I've got enough items bag space, which is this one right here. But that ingredient bag is suffering. I don't think I will need Pokemon space anytime soon. I'm pretty strict on the targets, and so it's few gray cases and I can basically just throw out everything that I'm not going to use. But yeah, I've calculated that it requires 3,600 diamonds to upgrade this ingredient bag from 100 to 700. And if I am to do something cooking related, that would be necessary. And then long term, potentially, I should settle here between 500 and 600 in the items bag, and that is priority number 1. I'll be getting a lot of handy candy soon from the friend list, and also a whole lot of ingredient tickets from the friend list. And I think for now, I prefer to just buy more item storage than to try to get rid of those. So I'll probably prioritize still getting the items to 500, and then starting to save up on those 3,600 diamonds that I need for this ingredient bag, which is ridiculous. Now, the other thing I need to think about is the dream shards, because to cook, you need a cooking pot, and the cooking pot here, already going further here, is like 50,000 dream shards or something like this. And then later on, you know, there's a quick mill in the dream shards that just go down the drain when you want a bigger pot. So I think I have narrowed down at least one of my 3 to 4 cooking Pokemon, all things considered, 3 ingredient specialists, 1, maybe 2 skill specialists. And that is Magnezone. Now, if I can somehow find a skill level up M Magnezone or Magnemite, then that would be pretty good, because I can evolve that and get to main skill level 5 on it. And I think for the most part, I wouldn't need much more. At least not anytime soon. So Magnezone, very strong Pokemon overall. Definitely S tier, particularly now that Steel type berry is the favorite berry at the most late game island. And so, yeah, I've decided that I'm going to start looking for Magnemite. I'm going to add that to the list of targets. And I've also decided to start putting up a list just in the video description. Okay, just had to double check if I had to do an edit there, because anyway, the Magnezone is a very strong Pokemon that I think even here on the free-to-play could make some sense. If I can just hunt the Magnemite, look for skill level up M, and just basically do the same thing as I did with the Wigglytuff here. And since I was this lucky with the Wigglytuff, I kind of long-term have some spare seeds to go someplace. But I mean, even if I just find a Magnemite with skill level up M and maybe some extra skill triggers like a nature or skill trigger M, like just 2 factors, skill level up M and some sort of trigger, then I can be happy. And that can be a big part of the cooking strategy here on the free to play. And as stated earlier, I'm looking to find 2 to 3 Pokemon of the ingredient specialty that I can have a mixed or a focused ingredient list on and just make work. I probably won't be cooking any of the top tier dishes, but I'm hoping that across 2-3 Pokemon, something like that, I can find something around the 50% dish level bonus and just cook a whole lot of stuff there. And yeah, we'll just have to wait a little bit and see what that is going to look like. I'm going to work on that today. It's going to be a big old spreadsheet again. And that one I can actually share out without any issues. And so, yeah, my team is struggling with energy today because you saw I had 29 in that friendship level. So I'm actually wondering this week if I should do no naps here on the main session because overall I'll be getting a lot of encounters and I'll have the bonus biscuit. It's going to be a balanced-ish type sleep for the week too. So yeah, I think that is the overall plan. And then you can see I'm starting to get a lot of Totodile candies, and I still don't have a good bear finding long-term Totodile for either Alligator or Croconaw. So that's been a little bit surprising how far in between those have been. But I mean, for the next 2 weeks, I'll maybe prioritize a little bit on the cooking side. We'll just see whatever that analysis says when I'm done with it. But otherwise, I don't think we'll find too many Totodiles until we go back to the nap sessions at the Siam Beach area. Now, one of the benefits too of not doing naps the next 2 weeks is once I go back to Siam Beach again, then maybe I can get some slumbering long sessions in those weekends to really see if I can find some of these targets. So yeah, this was the 2-in-1 episode of the free-to-play with no bonus biscuit today, unfortunately, but overall, hope you've enjoyed this video and the daily progression here on the free-to-play. Now, I find it important to document everything, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this to begin with. The overall series here is an experiment in trying to answer the question, what is the experience like as a strict free-to-play player? And so, yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow with another video. Thank you for watching.